My name is Silas Hollowhorn, and today I'll be showing you how to use different casting reels. So this one right here, this one's called the bait, or it's called a bait caster, and they all come different sizes, or you can use them as they call them trolling. And this one right here, this one's called the spinning combo or spinning reel. Preferably, I like this one more. This one's a lot easier to use. When it comes to this one, how do you set this one up? You got your tensioner. It's this little knob here. Everyone can see that. And you got your drag. This is just how much you want coming out when you find the fish and all that. You got your handles or your reel or your handles themselves. We just call this the button. I don't know if it has a specific name, but that just lets you helps you cast and all that. And then you got your brakes over here. These determine like what is it? Like the speed of your lure and all that, and it helps keeping this from they call it bird's nesting. That's when it gets all tangled up. So the first step to getting your bait set is you want to tighten your tensioner all the way up. This is just the way that I learned it. I like to tighten it all the way up, get my drag to about 15 pounds. Tighten that up, bring your lure all the way to the top. And these brakes are usually 1 through 10. So I like to keep mine about 5 to start. And then what you want to do is push your button down. That just lets the spool free. Once you do that, you just slowly start letting your tension out. This just helps. Because if your tension's too tight, your bait won't cast, or it just causes problems down the road. You want to get it to the point where it's like a slow, nice, even fall. You don't want it too fast or too slow. So like that right there would be preferred for me. But since this is a lighter lure, I like to cast it a little further, so I'll let more out, just so it's a little faster. If it's a windy day, I'll have my brakes up to about 8 or 6. And if it's not windy out, I just like turn them down to 3. And then, drag. If you have that too loose, you try to set the hook on a fish, what will happen is your line will just come right out, and then the hooks won't puncture the flesh on the fish or the mouth. Or if you have it too tight, and say you got a fish on, if you have it too tight, that'll put way too much tension on your line. And if you don't got good fish or eyes on your rod, that will just cause this to snap. So I like to keep mine, from what way I learned, is about 15 pounds. And that's usually perfect. And when it comes to a spinning combo, this one you don't really got to do as much work as that. This one you just, me, I like to keep it about, I would say it's probably about a foot, a little more. Some people like to go way too much or way too little. For me, whenever I'm getting ready to use this, or how to use it first, this on top, this little knob right here, this will be your drag. Same thing as that one, just looks different. Same concept. I like to have mine a little, about 15 pounds. And then this right here, this is called your bail. That just keeps your line on. Whenever you're ready to cast, pull that back, cast your bait, pull it down, or reel it in. These, I would recommend these for people just getting into fishing, because they're a lot easier to use. You don't got to worry about birds nesting. Especially if you break the handle, these are interchangeable with other reels that you have. Like this one, I put it behind my car and I forgot about it. ran it over. So that's why this bell is all bent out of shape. I still use it. And then this handle's from like a $5 handle, $5 reel got at Walmart. Going back to this one. Also another thing with having your drag too tight is they call digging. This is when your line will start digging into the spool, and that just keeps it from coming out. And that causes that just causes you to like have to cut the line and all that. That's why you don't want your drag too tight. Whenever it comes to using these, you will always want to readjust every time you put on a new lure. Unless you're professional, you don't have to. I'm not there yet. It's like this one. Since this one's heavier, I would want my tensioner a lot tighter because if I leave it now, it's just going to fall. And that's too fast, and then it causes it to backspin on stuff. So what I always do is just re-tighten it up. This one's a little heavier, so I'll turn the brakes up a little more. Slowly do it again. And in some reels, they come with a special button right here. This is just the extra button to get the button to come back up. But you don't have to use that. All you gotta do is just spin the reel. That's one way I like to use that. You can also do that on these ones. I'm not sure if mine can do that. Find out real quick. Yeah, mine does that. So if you don't want to take the extra work and make your hands work a little more, as soon as your lure hits the water, just start moving. What else is it? The reason I got into these bait casters was living back on the res, we only had to do these small legs. You don't really have to cast that far to catch a fish, but moving out here, these legs are big. So I wanted to try casting further, and that's when my roommate got me into these. These can range anywhere from like 40 to even a couple grand for a reel. This rod's a whole different topic. So these reels, some are better, some are worse. They have gear ratios on them. This one's a 6:4 to 1 gear ratio. Higher the ratio, higher it reels in. So say this was like a 5 or a 4. And I'm spinning as fast as I can, but it's only coming in like this fast. But since this one's a 6, it's nice and quick. So that's why I like these ones. Same goes for these. The spinning combos, their gear ratios are hidden under the spool. Let's see if I can pull it out. This one's the 8 bearings. I don't really pay attention to those. But this one right here. This one's only a 3 bearing spool. So this one, I usually like to use for these kind of lures that you want to bring in nice and slow. But I would use my bait casters for lighter lures like this. This frog probably only weighs a couple ounces. This one's for floating, top water, and all that. The way I learned how to use this was just, because none of my family, no one back on the res, they don't use this at all. They're old school, they like to keep it to the spinning combos. Especially my dad, he didn't even know what the heck this was when the guy showed up. So the way I learned was just YouTube practice for like a week or two, and then finally got it down to where I like it. Preferably, I like the spinning combos more. Those are more versatile, I guess you could say. I like using these when I go catfishing. They're easier to cast if you have like heavy weights, like on my catfish rigs, I have 3-ounce weights, plus you got the leader, the hook, the bait. It's just easier to cast with the spinning combo. Sometimes I've tried it with this, but that just caused for a whole mess with that. Because I tried it once and I never did it again because it took me about 2 days to get the knot out. So after that, I never bothered doing that again. Yeah, all these, it's kind of expensive hobby if you want to get into it. Not too terribly expensive. Like this reel, I got this for maybe 50 bucks. This rod I got for about 50 bucks. The line was maybe 20 bucks, but that's because I like the heavier line. You know, it doesn't snap as much. Like this one, this is only rated for like 20-pound line, but I got 40-pound on here. I think I got this whole combo at Walmart on sale for like 20 bucks. It's a really good combo. I've had it for maybe a couple years now. Survived being ran over. But yeah, if you want to cast further, I'd recommend the bait caster. If you're really professional, you can probably get the same distance with the spinning combo, but I'd recommend these for lures. I'd recommend these for baits.